The night sky over Earth trembled as a massive Zorathian warship descended, its dark hull gleaming under the moonlight. People gathered in the streets, their eyes wide with fear and wonder, as a voice crackled through the air. "They have sent their queen, but she hides a dangerous secret." Commander Ethan stood at the edge of the landing zone, his black uniform crisp, his bald head reflecting the ship's lights. He adjusted his communicator, his heart pounding. This was no ordinary visit. The Zorathians, a powerful alien race with glowing eyes and towering strength, had threatened Earth for years. Now they offered peace through a gift, Queen Clara, their Barren ruler. The ship's doors opened with a hiss and Clara stepped out. She was tall and graceful, her long teal hair flowing like a river, shimmering with an otherworldly glow. Her armor, a mix of black and silver with delicate patterns, hugged her slender frame, but her pregnant belly stood out, a mystery no one could ignore. Ethan blinked, unsure if his eyes played tricks. Barren queens did not bear children. That was the law of the Zorathian Empire. Her pointed ears twitched as she scanned the crowd, her pale face calm yet hiding something deep. Earth's leaders rushed forward, their voices eager, welcoming her with smiles that masked their nervousness. Ethan watched closely, his hand resting on his weapon. Something felt wrong. Clara moved with quiet dignity, her steps echoing on the metal platform. The crowd whispered, their voices a mix of awe and suspicion. "Why send a queen who cannot have heirs?" one man muttered. Ethan overheard and frowned. He had studied the Zorathians. Their king, Varkon, ruled with an iron fist, and barren queens were shamed, sent away to die or serve. Clara's presence here was a puzzle. She stopped before Ethan, her glowing eyes meeting his. "I am Clara," she said softly, her voice like music. "I come to bring peace." Ethan nodded, his throat dry. He was tasked with hosting her, keeping her safe, but her words felt like a riddle. Peace? With a warship overhead? The day passed in meetings and ceremonies. Earth's leaders signed treaties, promising friendship with the Zorathians. Clara sat silently, her hand often resting on her belly, her face unreadable. Ethan stood nearby observing. She ate little, spoke less, and avoided questions about her condition. At one point, a reporter shouted, "Is the child yours, Commander?" Ethan's face burned, and he waved the question away. Clara's lips twitched, almost a smile, but she said nothing. The crowd grew restless, their whispers turning to rumors. Some called her a spy, others a savior. Ethan felt the weight of their stares, his mind racing. Who was this queen, and why did she carry a child no one understood? As night fell, Ethan escorted Clara to her quarters, a secure room in the military base. The warship still loomed outside, its lights blinking like a watchful eye. "You're safe here," he said, his voice firm. Clara turned, her eyes locking with his. "Safe?" she whispered. "No place is safe for me now." Before he could ask more, she entered her room and closed the door. Ethan stood there, confused. Her words echoed in his mind. He returned to his office, but sleep wouldn't come. Something about her tugged at him, a mix of pity and curiosity. He opened a file on his desk, reading about the Zorathians. Barren queens were exiled. Their lives ended if they failed to produce heirs. Yet here was Clara, alive, pregnant, and on Earth. Hours later, a soft noise broke the silence. Ethan grabbed his weapon and crept toward Clara's room. The door was ajar and a faint light glowed inside. He peeked through and froze. Clara stood by a window, her hand pressed to her belly, her lips moving in a silent prayer. The light came from her skin, a gentle pulse that matched her heartbeat. "You're safe. For now," she murmured, her voice trembling. Ethan's breath caught. Was she talking to the child? The glow faded and she turned, her eyes wide with shock as she saw him. "Commander," she said, stepping back. "You should not see this." Ethan raised his hands, showing he meant no harm. "What's happening?" he asked, his voice low. Clara hesitated, her gaze dropping. "My people believe I cannot bear life," she said slowly. "But this child, it is a miracle." "And a danger," Ethan's mind spun. A miracle, a danger. He wanted to ask more, but a sharp beep from his communicator stopped him. "Commander, report to the control room," a voice crackled. He glanced at Clara, her face pale, then rushed out. In the control room, screens showed a Zorathian drone hovering near the base. "It's watching her," an officer said, pointing. Ethan's stomach tightened. If the Zorathians knew about the child, what would they do? Back in his office, Ethan paced, his thoughts a storm. Clyra's secret was bigger than he imagined. A barren queen with a child could change everything. Peace wore the fate of two worlds. He remembered her glowing skin, her whispered words. Was the child human? Alien? Both? He didn't know, but he felt a pull to protect her. The drone's presence worried him. It must be reporting to King Varkon, the ruthless ruler who despised weakness. If Varkon learned of the heir, he might demand its return or destroy it. Ethan clenched his fists. He had to find out the truth. The night grew darker, the warship's shadow stretching over the base. Ethan returned to Clyra's room, knocking softly. No answer. He pushed the door open and found her gone. The window was open, the curtain fluttering in the breeze. On the floor lay a small glowing crystal, pulsing like her skin had. Ethan picked it up, its warmth surprising him. A note beside it read, "Follow if you dare." His heart raced. Clyra was out there, alone with a secret that could start a war. He grabbed his weapon and stepped into the night, the crystal glowing in his hand. Whatever she hid, he would uncover it and face the consequences. The wind howled as Ethan searched the shadows, his every step heavy with anticipation. Somewhere out there, Clyra waited, her child's future hanging in the balance. The drone buzzed overhead, its red light scanning the ground. Ethan ducked behind a tree, his mind racing. This was just the beginning, and the danger was closer than he knew. The night air was cold as Ethan moved through the shadows, the glowing crystal clutched tightly in his hand. Its soft pulse guided him, a faint light cutting through the darkness beyond the military base. His boots crunched on the ground, his breath visible in the chill. The Zorathian drone still hummed overhead, its red beam sweeping the area like a predator's eye. Ethan's heart pounded. Clyra had vanished, leaving only the crystal and that mysterious note, "Follow if you dare." He didn't know where she went, but he felt a strange pull to find her. The secret of her child, that impossible miracle, weighed on his mind. He had to understand. After a tense hour, Ethan reached a hidden cave near the forest's edge. The crystal's glow grew brighter as he stepped inside, its light reflecting off damp walls. There in the dimness stood Clyra. Her teal hair shimmered, her armor glinting faintly. She turned, her glowing eyes wide with surprise. "Commander," she whispered, "you came." Ethan nodded, catching his breath. "I had to," he said. "What's happening? Why did you run?" Clyra's hand rested on her belly, her face tense. "I had no choice," she replied. "They are watching. If they find me, they will take my child." Ethan frowned, glancing at the cave entrance. The drone's hum was closer now. Clyra led him deeper into the cave, where a small device hummed on a rock. It looked like Zorathian tech, with blinking lights and a screen. She touched it, and an image appeared, a memory of her past. Ethan saw a grand hall filled with towering aliens in armor. At the center sat King Varkon, his spiked helmet gleaming, his voice booming. "You are Barren, Clyra," he declared. "You bring shame to our empire." The scene shifted, showing Clyra's exile, her head held high as she was sent to Earth. Ethan's chest tightened. "They cast you out," he said softly. Clyra nodded, tears in her eyes. "Yes, but I found hope here." The device beeped, and a new image showed a human scientist, Dr. Lena, working in a lab. Clyra explained, her voice low. "Lena helped me. She used her machines to give me a child. It was a secret, a chance to prove myself." Ethan stared, shocked. A human scientist created this miracle. "Who's the father?" he asked, his voice sharp. Clyra looked away, her silence heavy. Before she could answer, the drone's beam flashed into the cave. Clyra gasped, pulling Ethan behind a rock. "They know," she whispered. Ethan peeked out, seeing the drone hover, its lens focusing. His mind raced. If Varkon learned of this, war would follow. The drone retreated, but the danger lingered. Clyra sank to the ground, her strength fading. "The child grows fast," she said, her hand trembling on her belly. "It's not like my people, it's different." Ethan knelt beside her, his worry growing. "Different how?" he asked. Clyra's eyes glowed brighter for a moment. "It has power," she said. "I feel it. But it scares me." Ethan didn't understand, but he saw the fear in her face. He wanted to help, to protect her, though he barely knew her. The crystal in his hand pulsed again, warmer now, as if responding to her words. Suddenly, a voice crackled through the device. "Clyra, you cannot hide," it said. Ethan recognized the tone. King Varkon. Clyra stiffened, her hands clenching. "He knows about the heir," she whispered. "He will come for it." Ethan grabbed her arm, pulling her up. "We need to move," he said. They hurried out of the cave, the drone's hum growing louder. Ethan spotted a small outpost ahead, a safe place to plan. But as they ran, the ground shook. A shadow loomed, a Zorathian warrior, tall and armored, blocking their path. Its eyes glowed red, its weapon raised. "The queen belongs to Varkon," it growled. Ethan pushed Clyra behind him, drawing his gun. "Not tonight," he said, his voice steady. The warrior lunged and Ethan fired, the shot echoing in the night. The warrior staggered but kept coming. Clyra raised her hand, and a burst of light shot from her palm, knocking the warrior back. Ethan stared, amazed. "You can fight?" he asked. Clyra nodded, breathless. "The child gives me strength," she said. Together they reached the outpost, slamming the door shut. Inside, Dr. Lena waited, her face pale. "They've seen the drone footage," she said. "Varkon is furious." Lena led them to a hidden room, her hands shaking as she worked a computer. "I didn't mean for this," she said. "I thought I could help her. But now—" Her voice trailed off. Ethan looked at Clyra, then at Lena. "Tell me everything," he demanded. Lena sighed. "I used my tech to combine human and Zorathian DNA. The child is a hybrid. But someone leaked it." Ethan's mind spun. A hybrid? That explained the power, the glow. But who betrayed them? Clyra touched his arm, her eyes pleading. "We must protect it," she said. Ethan nodded, his resolve hardening. The outpost's alarms blared, red lights flashing. "They're here," Lena said, checking a screen. Outside, more warriors appeared, their armor glinting under the drone's light. Ethan grabbed a weapon, his heart racing. Clyra stood beside him, her glow returning. "We fight together," she said. But as they prepared, a message came through the device. "Clyra," Varkon's voice boomed, "surrender the heir or Earth burns." The room fell silent. Ethan glanced at Clyra, her face set with determination. The child's future hung in the balance, and the battle was just beginning. Somewhere in the night, the drone watched, sending every moment to its king. The outpost trembled as Varkon's voice echoed through the device, his threat hanging heavy in the air. "Surrender the heir or Earth burns," he roared, the words sharp and cold. Ethan stood frozen, his weapon still in hand, his eyes darting to Clyra. Her teal hair glowed faintly, her hand pressed to her belly as if shielding the child within. Dr. Lena clutched the computer, her face pale with fear. The red lights flashed, casting shadows across the room. Outside, the Zorathian warriors waited, their armored figures visible through the small window. The drone hovered above, its lens fixed on the outpost. Ethan's heart raced. This was no longer just a mystery. It was a war about to begin. Clyra stepped forward, her voice steady despite the danger. "I will not give my child to him," she said, her glowing eyes meeting Ethan's. He nodded, gripping his gun tighter. "Then we fight," he replied. Lena shook her head, her hands trembling. "We can't win against their army," she whispered. "Varkon has warships, soldiers, more than we can handle." Ethan frowned, his mind working fast. He had seen the Zorathian strength, their advanced tech. But he also saw Clyra's power, that burst of light that stopped the warrior. Maybe they had a chance. "We need a plan," he said. Clyra's lips pressed into a thin line. "He wants the heir because it's special," she said. "We must use that." The device beeped again, and a hologram of Varkon appeared. His spiked armor gleamed, his glowing eyes narrowing. "Clyra, you disgrace our empire," he snarled. "A barren queen with a human child? You will return, or I will destroy this weak planet." Ethan stepped in front of Clyra, his voice firm. "She's not going anywhere," he said. Varkon laughed, a harsh sound that filled the room. "Foolish human," he said. "You cannot stop me." The hologram faded, but the threat lingered. Lena typed quickly on the computer, pulling up images of the warship overhead. "It's armed with energy weapons," she said. "One shot could level this base." Ethan paced, his mind racing. He thought of Earth's people, the crowds who had watched Clyra arrive with hope and fear. They deserved a chance to live. He looked at Clyra, her strength inspiring him. "If the child is powerful," he said, "can it stop him?" Clyra hesitated, her hand glowing faintly. "Maybe," she admitted. "But it's not born yet. I feel its energy, but I don't know how to use it." Lena's eyes widened. The hybrid DNA, she muttered. It could be a weapon or a shield. We need time to figure it out, Ethan nodded. Time was the one thing they didn't have. A loud bang shook the outpost, dust falling from the ceiling. The warriors were attacking. Ethan rushed to the window, seeing their figures advance, weapons raised. They're breaking in, he shouted. Clyra joined him, her glow growing stronger. Stand back, she said, raising her hands. A wave of light shot out, hitting the door and sealing it with a shimmering barrier. Ethan stared, amazed. How did you do that? He asked. Clyra smiled weakly. The child protects us, she said. But her face showed strain, and she leaned against the wall, breathing hard. Lena worked faster, connecting the device to her computer. I can send a signal, she said. Warn Earth's leaders. They need to prepare. Ethan agreed, but he knew it wouldn't be enough. Varkon's fleet could strike before help arrived. He turned to Clyra. We need to get you out of here, he said. Somewhere safe. Clyra shook her head. No place is safe while he lives, she replied. But I know someone who can help. She pointed to the device where a name flashed, Captain Rin, a Zorathian rebel. He hates Varkon, she said. He might fight with us. Another bang rocked the outpost, the barrier cracking. Ethan grabbed his gun, ready to defend. Call him, he told Lena. She typed quickly, sending a desperate message. Minutes passed, each one tense. Then the device beeped, and a gruff voice answered. This is Rin, it said. I know of Clyra's child. Meet me at the old ruins north of your base. Hurry. The call ended, leaving hope in its wake. Ethan helped Clyra stand, her strength fading. We go now, he said. Lena packed the device, her hands shaking. The barrier shattered, and warriors stormed in. Ethan fired, hitting one warrior, while Clyra unleashed another light burst, pushing them back. Go, she shouted. They ran, dodging blasts of energy, the drone following overhead. The ruins were miles away, a risky journey. Ethan supported Clyra, her breathing heavy. Hold on, he said. She nodded, her hand glowing again. The child's power was their only hope. As they reached the forest, a shadow loomed, a warship descending, its weapons charging. Varkon's voice boomed. You cannot escape me, Clyra. The ground shook as the warship fired, a beam of light cutting through the trees. Ethan pulled Clyra down, shielding her as dirt and branches flew. The drone buzzed closer, its lens zooming in. Lena screamed, We're trapped! But then a figure appeared. Captain Rin, tall and armored, with a small rebel force. This way, he called, firing at the drone. It crashed, sparking in the dirt. Ethan helped Clyra up, relief mixing with fear. Rin glared at her. Your child could end Varkon, he said, but it could destroy us all. They followed Rin to a hidden bunker, the warship's shadow still overhead. Inside, Rin explained, Varkon fears the air because it's a threat to his rule. A hybrid could unite our people or tear them apart. Clyra sat, exhausted. I want peace, she said. Not war. Rin nodded, but his eyes were hard. Then we fight, he said. Ethan looked at Clyra, then at the warship on the screen. Varkon's fury was clear. He would not stop. The child's fate hung in the balance, and Ethan knew the real battle was just beginning. The bunker's dim lights flickered as Ethan, Clyra, and Dr. Lena huddled with Captain Rin and his rebel force. The warship's shadow loomed outside, its engines humming like a beast ready to strike. Varkon's last words, You cannot escape me, Clyra, echoed in Ethan's mind, fueling his resolve. The air was thick with tension, the sound of distant blasts shaking the walls. Clyra sat on a crate, her teal hair dull, her hand resting on her glowing belly. She looked tired, but her eyes burned with determination. Ethan stood close, his gun ready, his heart torn between duty and the strange bond growing with her. This fight was personal now. Rin paced, his armor clanking softly. Varkon's fleet is strong, he said, his voice rough. But your child, Clyra, changes everything. A hybrid heir could rally my people against him. Lena adjusted her computer, her fingers quick. The DNA mix is unstable, she warned. The child's power could help, or destroy us. Ethan frowned, glancing at Clyra. Can we control it? He asked. Clyra shook her head, her voice soft. I feel it growing, but I don't know how. Rin pointed to a map on the wall. We need to reach the old city, he said. It has defenses we can use, but we're hunted. A sudden crash rocked the bunker, dust falling from the ceiling. Warriors breached the entrance, their red eyes glowing. "Protect the Queen!" Ethan shouted, firing his gun. The rebels joined, their weapons blazing. Clyra raised her hands, a wave of light pushing the attackers back. Ethan stared, amazed by her strength, but she stumbled, weakened. "Clyra!" he called, catching her. She leaned on him, breathing hard. "The child takes my energy," she whispered. Ethan's chest tightened. He couldn't lose her, not now. Lena pulled them toward a back tunnel. "This way!" she yelled. They ran, the sound of battle fading behind them. In the tunnel, Ethan noticed Clyra's glow dimming. "Stay with me," he said, his voice gentle. She looked at him, her eyes soft. "Ethan, I care for you," she admitted. His breath caught. Before he could reply, a shout came from ahead. Rebels blocked the path, their weapons raised. "Traitors!" one yelled. Ethan pushed Clyra behind him. "We're not your enemy," he shouted. Rin stepped forward, his voice firm. "They're with me. Stand down." The rebels lowered their weapons, but their leader glared. "Varkon says the Queen betrays us," he said. "Why trust her?" Rin explained, "She's fighting for peace. The child could end his rule." The leader hesitated, then nodded. "Follow us," he said. They moved to a hidden outpost in the old city, its walls lined with ancient tech. Lena worked quickly, linking her computer to the defenses. "We can hold them here," she said. Ethan watched Clyra, her hand trembling on her belly. "We need to know more," he told Lena. "Who's the father?" Lena froze, her face pale. "It's complicated," she said. "I used Ethan's DNA in the experiment. He's the father." Ethan staggered, his mind reeling. "What?" he gasped. Clyra looked away, tears in her eyes. "I didn't know at first," she said. Lena told me later. "I wanted to protect you from this." Ethan's heart pounded. His child. He felt anger, then love, a mix he couldn't untangle. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked. Lena stepped in. "I thought it would keep you safe. But someone leaked it, maybe a rebel." A loud explosion interrupted them, the outpost shaking. Warriors attacked, breaking through the defenses. Ethan grabbed his gun, standing with Clyra. "We fight together," he said. She nodded, her glow returning. The rebels fired, but the enemy was strong. Clyra unleashed a light burst, shielding them, but a warrior broke through, aiming at her. Ethan tackled him, the two crashing to the ground. He wrestled the weapon away, striking hard. The warrior fell, but more came. Rin rallied the rebels, shouting orders. "Hold the line," he called. Lena activated the defenses, lasers firing from the walls. The tide turned, but Clyra collapsed, her energy drained. Ethan knelt beside her, panic rising. "Stay with me," he pleaded. Her hand glowed faintly, the child's pulse weak. "It's coming," she whispered. Ethan's eyes widened. "Now? In the chaos?" He lifted her, carrying her to a safe corner. Lena rushed over, her hands shaking. "I need tools," she said. Ethan guarded them, firing at the warriors. The battle raged, but a new sound cut through, the warship descending. Varkon's voice boomed, "Surrender or die." Ethan looked at Clyra, her face pale. He felt a surge of protectiveness. This was his family now. "Never," he muttered. Clyra gripped his hand, her glow strengthening. "Together," she said. A light burst from her, pushing the warriors back, giving the rebels an edge. Ethan fought harder, his love for her fueling him. But as the warship fired, a beam struck near them, the ground splitting. Dust filled the air as Ethan shielded Clyra. When it cleared, Rin stood, wounded but alive. "We held them off," he said. "But the warship loomed, its weapons charging again." Lena checked Clyra, her voice urgent. "The child's close. We need to move her." Ethan nodded, lifting Clyra as rebels covered their escape. Outside, a traitor's voice called, "Varkon will win." Ethan turned, seeing a rebel signal the enemy. Betrayal stung, but he focused on Clyra. The old city offered safety, but for how long? The warship's shadow followed, and Varkon's fury grew. The old city's ruins trembled as Ethan carried Clyra through the crumbling streets, her body heavy in his arms. The warship's shadow stretched across the ground, its engines roaring like a storm. Red beams of light swept the area, searching for them. Lena ran beside him, her computer clutched tight, while Rin and the rebels guarded their rear, firing at the pursuing warriors. Clyra's breathing was shallow, her teal hair dull, but her hand glowed faintly on her belly. "Hold on," Ethan whispered, his voice rough with worry. The traitor's shout still rang in his ears, fueling his anger. They had to find safety, fast. They ducked into an ancient tower, its walls lined with dusty tech that hummed faintly. Lena rushed to a control panel, her fingers flying over the keys. "This place has shields," she said, her voice tight. "I can activate them." Rin nodded, barking orders to the rebels. "Set up defenses," he called. Ethan gently laid Clara on a stone bench, her eyes fluttering open. "The child," she gasped, her hand trembling. "It's moving." Ethan knelt beside her, his heart racing. He didn't know much about Zorathian births, but her pain scared him. "Lena, help her!" he shouted. Lena hurried over, pulling out a small medical kit. "I'm not sure what to expect," she admitted, her hands shaking. "The hybrid DNA makes this unpredictable." Clara gripped Ethan's hand, her glow surging. Suddenly her belly pulsed with light, the room shaking. Ethan stumbled back, staring. "What's happening?" he asked. Clara cried out, her voice echoing. "It's not normal," she said. The light grew brighter, and a wave of energy burst from her, knocking over crates and stunning a nearby rebel. Ethan shielded his eyes, amazed and terrified. The child's power was real and strong. Outside, the warship fired, a beam striking the tower's edge. Debris fell. But Lena activated the shields just in time, a blue barrier flaring up. "It's holding for now," she said. Rin joined them, his face grim. "Varkon's warriors are closing in," he warned. "We can't fight forever." Ethan looked at Clara, her glow fading as the energy wave passed. "The child saved us," she whispered, exhausted. Ethan nodded, his mind racing. If the child could do that unborn, what would it do when born? He turned to Lena. "Can we use its power?" he asked. Lena frowned. "Maybe, but it's risky. We need to stabilize her first." A loud crash interrupted them. Warriors breached the shield's edge, their red eyes glowing. Rin and the rebels opened fire, holding them back. Ethan grabbed his gun, standing guard over Clara. "Stay with her," he told Lena. He joined the fight, his shots precise, but the warriors kept coming. Clara's voice called weakly, "Ethan!" He turned, seeing her struggle to sit up. Her hands glowed again, and another light burst shot out, pushing the warriors back. Ethan stared, awed. "You're amazing," he said. She smiled faintly, but her strength faded fast. Lena checked her scanner, her face pale. "The child's energy is spiking," she said. "It's trying to protect her." Suddenly, Clara gasped, her body shaking. "It's coming," she cried. Ethan rushed to her side, panic rising. "Now?" he asked. Lena nodded, grabbing her kit. "I'll do what I can," she said. The room shook again as the warship fired, the shield weakening. Rin shouted, "We're losing ground." Ethan held Clara's hand, his fear mixing with hope. "You can do this," he told her. Her glow brightened, the child's power surging, and the tower's tech flared to life, boosting the shields. The birth began, a mix of light and chaos. Lena worked quickly, her hands steady despite the danger. Warriors pounded the shield, but the child's energy held them back. Ethan watched, amazed, as Clara pushed with all her might. Then a cry filled the air, a small glowing figure in Lena's arms. The child's skin shimmered, its eyes bright like Clara's. "It's alive," Lena whispered, tears in her eyes. Ethan stared, his heart swelling. His child. But the joy was short-lived. The warship's beam broke through, shattering the shield. Warriors stormed in, their leader raising a weapon. "The air is ours!" he roared. Clara sat up, her strength returning, and unleashed a massive light burst. The warriors fell stunned, but the leader fired, hitting the wall near them. Debris fell, and Ethan shielded Clara and the child. Rin tackled the leader, ending the threat, but the warship loomed closer. "We need to move," Rin shouted. Lena wrapped the child, handing it to Clara. "It's a girl," she said softly. Clara smiled, holding her daughter close. Ethan felt a fierce love, but the danger wasn't over. The warship's voice boomed, "Surrender or the city dies." Ethan looked at Clara, then the child. "We can't let them take her," he said. Clara nodded, her glow steady. "Her name is Lyra," she said. "She's our hope." Lena pointed to a hidden exit. "This way leads to the tunnels," she said. They ran, the child glowing softly in Clara's arms. The warship fired again, the blast shaking the ground. Rin covered their escape, firing back. In the tunnel, Ethan glanced at Lyra, her eyes meeting his. She was tiny, but her power was clear. Varkon wanted her, and that made her a target. They reached a safe spot, the tunnel quiet for now. Lena checked Lyra, her voice shaky. "She's strong, but the energy is wild," she said. Lyra held her close, tears falling. "She'll save us," she whispered. Ethan stood guard, his mind set. Varkon's fury was coming, and Lyra's power was their only chance. But as the warship's shadow faded, a new sound came. More drones, their lights piercing the dark. Ethan tensed. The fight was far from over, and Lyra's destiny hung in the balance. The tunnel was cold and damp, the only light coming from Lyra's soft glow as Lyra held her close. Ethan stood guard at the entrance, his gun ready, his eyes scanning the shadows. The sound of drones grew louder, their piercing lights cutting through the dark. It was past midnight, the clock ticking toward 12:36 a.m. on this tense Wednesday, October 29th, 2025. Lena adjusted her computer, her face tight with worry, while Rin checked his weapon, his rebel force resting nearby. The warship's last blast still echoed in their minds, a reminder that Varkon's fury was relentless. Lyra cooed softly, her tiny hands glowing, and Ethan felt a surge of love mixed with fear. Lyra looked at him, her teal hair tangled but her eyes steady. "Ethan, we need to talk," she said, her voice low. He nodded, stepping closer. "About what?" he asked. She took a deep breath, her hand trembling as she held Lyra. "You're her father," she whispered. "Lena used your DNA to save me. I didn't know at first, but I wanted you to know now." Ethan's heart stopped. He had suspected it, but hearing it hit hard. His child. He looked at Lyra, her bright eyes meeting his, and felt a bond he couldn't deny. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" he asked, his voice soft but hurt. Lena stepped in, her face pale. "I thought it would protect you both," she said. "If Varkon knew, he'd target you too. But someone leaked it, a traitor among us." Ethan clenched his fists, anger rising. "Who?" he demanded. Rin shook his head. "We don't know yet," he said, "but we'll find them." Lyra touched Ethan's arm, her glow warming his skin. "I'm sorry," she said. "I care for you, Ethan. That's why I ran, to keep you safe." He looked into her eyes, seeing her truth, and nodded. "I care for you too," he admitted. "We'll protect her together." A loud buzz interrupted them. The drones were closer. Rin peeked out, cursing softly. "They found us," he said. "We need to move." Ethan lifted Lyra safe in her arms, and they hurried deeper into the tunnel. The drone's lights flashed, their hum growing louder. Suddenly the ground shook, and a drone crashed through the ceiling, its lens focusing on Lyra. "The Heir," a mechanical voice called. Ethan fired, destroying it, but more came. Lyra raised her hand, a light burst pushing them back, but she staggered, weak. "The child's energy is too much," she gasped. Lena checked her scanner, her eyes wide. "Lyra's power is spiking," she said. "It's reacting to the danger." The tunnel lit up as Lyra's glow grew, strange lights flickering on the walls. Ethan watched, amazed, as the child's energy seemed to shield them. But it also drew attention. A warship beam struck nearby, the tunnel collapsing behind them. They ran, debris falling, until they reached a small chamber. Rin sealed the door, his face grim. "We're trapped," he said. Ethan set Lyra down, his mind racing. "We need a way out," he said. Lyra held Lyra close, her glow fading. "She's trying to help," she whispered. "But I can't control it." Lena worked her computer, pulling up a map. "There's an exit ahead," she said. "But it's guarded." Ethan nodded, his resolve hardening. "We fight through," he said. Rin agreed, rallying the rebels. "For the Heir," he called. They prepared, but Lyra's cry filled the air, her glow surging again. The chamber shook and the door blasted open, revealing warriors. Ethan fired, Rin and the rebels joining him. Lyra unleashed a light wave, pushing them back, but a warrior broke through, aiming at her. Ethan tackled him, wrestling the weapon away. "Not my family!" he shouted, striking hard. The warrior fell, but more came, their numbers overwhelming. Lyra's glow flared, a shockwave knocking them down, giving the rebels an edge. Ethan helped Lyra up, amazed by her strength. "She's incredible," he said. Lyra smiled weakly. "She's yours," she replied. They moved toward the exit, fighting through, but a new threat loomed. Varkon's voice boomed from above. Surrender the air or Earth burns. The warship appeared, its fleet filling the sky. Lena pointed to the exit, now clear. Go! She shouted. They ran, the rebels covering them, but a beam struck near the exit, trapping them. Ethan shielded Clyra and Lyra, debris falling. Rin pulled them out, his arm bleeding. We're out, he gasped. They hid in the forest, the warship's lights searching. Lyra's glow dimmed, her energy spent. Clyra held her close, tears falling. She's tired, she said. Ethan looked at the sky, the fleet a dark promise. We need help, he said. Rin nodded. I'll call allies, he said. But Varkon won't stop. The forest was silent, the drones gone for now. Ethan sat beside Clyra, watching Lyra sleep. She's our hope, he whispered. Clyra leaned against him, her strength returning. And our fight, she said. But as they rested, a rustle came, a figure in the shadows. Ethan raised his gun, tense. Who's there, he called. A voice answered, a friend. It was a rebel holding a device. Rin's allies are coming, he said. But the traitor's close. Ethan's eyes narrowed. The danger was far from over, and Lyra's power made her a target. The warship's shadow lingered, and Varkon's fury grew stronger. The forest was still, the only sound the soft breathing of Lyra as she slept in Clyra's arms. Ethan kept his gun ready, his eyes fixed on the shadows where the rebel had disappeared. The clock ticked past 12:40 a.m. PKT on this tense Wednesday, October 29th, 2025, the night stretching long and heavy. The warship's distant hum filled the air, its lights flickering through the trees. Rin stood guard with his rebels, their faces hard with determination. Lena worked quietly on her computer, searching for a signal. Clyra leaned against Ethan, her teal hair brushing his arm, her strength slowly returning. Lyra's tiny glow pulsed faintly, a beacon of hope in the dark. The rebel returned, his face grim. Allies are close, he said, holding out the device. But the traitor's signal came from here. Ethan's jaw tightened. Who? He demanded. The rebel shook his head. Not sure yet. Could be one of us. Rin stepped forward, his voice low. We root them out, he said. No one betrays the air. Clyra looked at Lyra, her eyes soft but worried. She needs peace, she whispered. Ethan nodded, his heart set. We'll give it to her, he promised. But the warship's beam lit the sky, a warning they had little time. A rustle came and Rin's allies arrived, tough Zorathian rebels with glowing weapons. Their leader, a tall figure named Zara, greeted Rin with a nod. Varkon's fleet grows, she said. But we fight for the hybrid. Lena looked up, her voice urgent. Lyra's power can stop him, but Clyra needs to control it. Ethan turned to Clyra. Can you? He asked. She hesitated, her hand glowing faintly. I'll try, she said. The child listens to me. Zara handed Rin a plan. We attack the warship's weak point, its energy core, she said. But we need a distraction, Ethan volunteered. I'll lead it, he said. Clyra grabbed his arm, her eyes wide. No, it's too dangerous, she pleaded. He smiled, touching her hand. I have to protect you both, he said. Rin agreed, assigning rebels to Ethan's team. Lena worked fast, uploading a virus to the warship's systems. This might slow them, she said. The plan was set, but tension hung thick. Lyra stirred, her glow brightening, and the ground shook slightly. She feels the fight, Clyra said, amazed. The attack began at dawn. Ethan led his team toward the warship, dodging blasts. Clyra stayed back with Zara's group, training to harness Lyra's power. Ethan fired at warriors, his heart pounding. A beam struck near him and he ducked, his mind on Clyra. Keep moving, he shouted. The rebels followed, planting explosives near the core, but a traitor's signal flared. Rin's second in command, a quiet rebel named Tor, was seen signaling the enemy. Traitor! Rin roared, tackling him. They fought and Tor fell, his device smashed. Back with Clyra, Lyra's glow surged as she practiced. Focus on her energy, Zara coached. Clyra raised her hands, a light wave pushing back a test drone. It's working, Lena called. But the warship fired, targeting their position. Clyra shielded them, her strength fading. Ethan, she whispered, fearing for him. At the core, Ethan's team succeeded, the explosion rocking the warship. It tilted, its weapons offline. We did it! A rebel cheered. But Varkon's voice boomed, You'll pay! The warship crashed, warriors fleeing. Ethan ran back, finding Clara safe but weak. Lyra glowed brightly, her power holding the enemy back. "You're amazing," Ethan said, hugging them. Zara reported, "Varkon's forces retreat, but he's alive." Rin joined, wounded but smiling. "We won this round," he said. Clara held Lyra, tears falling. "She saved us," she said. Ethan nodded, his love growing. But a shadow moved. A warrior grabbed Clara, pulling her away. "The heir is mine," he growled. Ethan lunged, fighting the warrior. Clara struggled, Lyra crying. A light burst from Lyra, stunning the warrior, and Ethan freed Clara. "Together," she said, her voice firm. They stood, Lyra's glow protecting them. The warrior fled and silence fell. Lena checked the area. "Varkon captured him," she said. "He'll come for Lyra." Ethan held Clara close, Lyra safe between them. "We'll be ready," he said. The warship's wreckage smoked, but Varkon's threat lingered, his fury promising more battles ahead. The forest glowed faintly with the dawn breaking over the horizon, the clock ticking to 12:45 a.m. PKT on this Wednesday. October 29, 2025. Ethan held Clara close. Lyra nestled safely between them, her tiny glow pulsing like a heartbeat. The warship's wreckage smoldered in the distance, its twisted metal a silent witness to their hard-fought victory. Rin and Zara's rebels stood guard, their weapons ready, while Lena packed her computer, her face tired but hopeful. The air was thick with relief, but a shadow of Varkon's threat lingered. Ethan looked at Clara, her teal hair catching the light, her eyes filled with love and worry. This was their moment, but the fight wasn't over. Clara adjusted Lyra in her arms, the child's bright eyes blinking up at her. "She's strong," Clara whispered, her voice soft. Ethan smiled, brushing a finger against Lyra's cheek. "She's ours," he said, his heart swelling with pride. Lena approached, her scanner beeping. "Her energy is stable now," she said. "But it's tied to Clara's life." Ethan frowned, glancing at Clara. "What does that mean?" he asked. Lena hesitated. "If Clara weakens, Lyra's power could fade or grow wild." Clara nodded, her hand glowing faintly. "I'll protect her," she promised. A sudden rumble shook the ground, and Rin shouted, "Incoming!" The rebels tensed as Varkon's voice boomed from a new ship descending. "You cannot hide the air," he roared. Warriors poured out, their red eyes glowing, weapons raised. Ethan grabbed his gun, standing with Clara. "We fight together," he said. Clara held Lyra close, her glow surging. "For her," she agreed. Zara rallied the rebels, shouting, "Hold the line!" The battle began, blasts lighting the forest. Ethan fired, hitting a warrior, while Clara unleashed a light wave, pushing them back. Lyra's glow grew, her tiny cry sending a shockwave that stunned the enemy. "She's helping," Lena called, amazed. But Varkon appeared, his spiked armor gleaming, his eyes furious. "The hybrid ends now," he snarled, aiming a weapon at Clara. Ethan lunged, tackling him, the two crashing to the ground. They wrestled, Varkon's strength overwhelming, but Ethan's love for his family fueled him. He struck hard, disarming Varkon. Clara stepped forward, Lyra's glow brightening. "This ends here," she said, raising her hands. A massive light burst erupted, enveloping Varkon. He screamed, his armor cracking, and fell, defeated. The warriors retreated, their leader gone. The forest fell silent, the new ship lifting off, leaving Varkon's body behind. Ethan helped Clara up, his breath heavy. "You did it," he said. She smiled weakly, holding Lyra. "We did," she replied. Lena checked Varkon, confirming his death. "It's over," she said, relief in her voice. Rin and Zara approached, their faces proud. "The Empire will crumble without him," Rin said. "Lyra's birth changes everything." Clara named her daughter officially, her voice clear. "Lyra, our hope," she said. The rebels cheered, but Ethan knew peace was fragile. He looked at Clara, her strength returning. "We build a future," he said. She nodded, Lyra cooing softly. They moved to a safe camp, the rebels setting up defenses. Lena worked on a message, sending it to Earth's leaders. "Peace is possible," she said. Ethan watched Clara feed Lyra, her glow warm. "She'll unite us," he whispered. Clara leaned against him, her love clear. But as night fell, a distant ship's light appeared. Rin tensed. "Varkon's ally," he said. "He escaped and found support." Ethan's jaw tightened. The fight wasn't fully over. They prepared, Lyra's glow a beacon. Clyra trained with her, learning to guide the child's power. "Together we're strong," she said. Ethan stood by her, his resolve firm. The new threat loomed, but hope grew. Lyra's tiny hand gripped his finger, her eyes bright. "We'll protect her," he told Clyra. She smiled, the forest quiet for now. The ship's light faded, a promise of future battles, but also of a family united. Earth and Zorath faced a new dawn with Lyra as its heart.